This is recorded. This is recorded so we can let you know when we're not recording. And if you want to ask questions off recording, we'll let you know when that time is. Okay, so Docebo. Docebo is MAP Inc.'s new learning and webinar platform. For years, we have been utilizing ShiftTools for everything from documentation with client contact forms to their resources on the library to ORS testing for recertification or for those who are going through initial training. And then, of course, any learning modules that we need to do. Now, Docebo is going to be where you can access your learning module or learning units, and where you can access MAP Inc.'s monthly webinars. You will hear MAP Inc. referred to Docebo as MAP University. And to access Docebo, you have to either copy and paste a link from ShiftTools or access it directly through the link, which we've put on the slide for you. Biggest note that I want to make regarding all of this, though, is that ShiftTools is still going to be used for your client contact form. So documentation still needs to be completed on ShiftTools. There is not a way to do documentation on Docebo yet that we are aware of. I know end game, the goal is to transition from ShiftTools to Docebo. From what we've been told, it is going to be little bits at a time, which is why we're doing learning modules and webinars for MAP Inc. at a state level on Docebo going forward. Okay, so to use Docebo for webinars, to access Docebo, we can do it one of the two ways. You can either copy and paste the link like we talked about on ShiftTools. When you log into ShiftTools with your SHIP 1B-01-3 other digits and your password, you'll be directed to the home page and it'll have a calendar on the right-hand side. If you click under the news section where it has MAP University as a hyperlink, it'll take you to this news webpage, and it tells you that effective May 1st, 2022, so May 1st coming up here in, gosh, a week, all MAP trainings, so all of MAP Inc.'s state trainings, all of their learning modules, and all of their tests are going to be located at Docebo. You can copy and paste the link right there, map.docebo.saas.com into your browser, or you can navigate to the web address directly from your web browser of choice. So if you want to just access it directly from the web browser, you can type in the map.docebo.saas.com into your browser bar, and it will navigate you to Docebo, where you'll see a sign-in page, just like this. Once you're on Docebo, you will need to log into the site with your MAP ID like you would for ShiftTools. So it's the 1B-01- whatever your numbers are. And the password is MMAP 6105. It's here on the slide as well. So it's MMAP 6105. This is the password for everyone. It does not matter if you are in 1B or region 14. You are having that password when you first log in. Once you've logged in and you click the sign in button, you're then going to be navigated to your homepage with a pop-up box about the privacy policy. When this is your first time logging in, you will need to check the box that says that you accept the terms of their privacy policy and click agree. From there, the next pop-up window that you'll see on your Docebo home is going to be what they call their Upskill pop-up window. This is something that we're not utilizing right now. So you can click the Not Now link that's right next to the red arrow here on the slide, and it will skip that pop-up window for you. When we learn more information about that, we'll let you guys know, but for right now, it's not anything to worry about. So once you've completed all those pop-up boxes, you're going to be on your My Courses and Learning Plans page, which is ultimately the homepage for Docebo. You'll see on here these two boxes with, for this example, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and then MAP 2022 recertification. These are referred to as tiles. So when you have courses or learning plans that you need to complete, they're going to be listed as tiles. On the bottom of them, you will see either e-learning or a lesson plan. But these are items that you will need to complete. And if they haven't been started yet, they'll also be labeled at the top right corner with the green not started. If it is something that you have to complete something else prior to utilizing it, it'll have a lock icon in the center of the image. But for today, we're going to show you how to click on the menu so that you can navigate to other courses that you can sign up for. So the menu button is here to the left of this red arrow, and it's 3 lines at the top left corner. Once you click on the menu button, you'll see the menu dock on the left hand of the web page. This is where you're going to go and navigate to course catalog so that you can view future mapping webinars that you want to enroll into. Once you click on the course catalog page, you'll be navigated to the course catalog homepage, where you'll see many different tiles that you can click on to sign up for. For this example, we're going to imagine that we're clicking on the tile that's labeled May Webinar. You can see at the bottom where it says it's a learning plan versus e-learning on the bottom next to the MAP 2022 recertification tile. But for that May 2022 webinar, you're going to want to click on the tile. Once you've clicked on it, this is the page that you will see. It's got information about the learning plan. It's got the learning plan structure. If you wanted to navigate to that tab, you could click that. It's a hyperlink. But in order to have it available to you, you have to enroll in it. So you'll want to enroll in it by clicking this green enroll button that's at the right-hand side of the web page. Again, it's right above the red arrow here on the slide. Clicking enroll will have a pop-up box appear for you. It's where it will notify you that you have been successfully enrolled in the webinar. And you can choose to close a box by clicking the close hyperlink. You can click view my courses, which is right above this red arrow, and that will take you back to your courses or your learning plans. Or if you wanted to just get started, you could click start learning now. For our example, we're going to click view my courses, which brings us back to your courses and learning plan homepage on Docebo. This is again where you have access to all of your tiles and lessons that you want to start. So again, for our example, we are utilizing the May 2022 webinar. You can see here that for the May webinar tiles, we have a couple of them with the locks on them. That means there's items you need to complete prior to having these items available to you. The only item that's not locked is the webinar pretest. So the best way to make sure that you are working through your learning plan in order so that you can unlock items is to click on the tile for the May webinar that says learning plan at the bottom. If you look here from left to right on this, you can see that the pretest as a separate lesson just has e-learning on the bottom. Clicking on the learning plan will bring you to where you can view everything that needs to be completed sequentially. So we click on the learning plan tile. It's highlighted here with the red star. and it will bring us to our learning plan. And again, it shows you everything in order of completion and how to unlock items. So the first thing that's available to do is going to be the pretest. You're going to click on the pretest link, and that will bring you to the pretest webinar homepage. You can click the Start Learning Now green button, and that will bring you to the test homepage. Before you click Begin Test, I do want to bring your attention to some of the things that are available for you to view here. You can see here that it'll tell you how many questions you need to get right in order to get a passing grade. It also shows you whether or not there's a time limit. It also shows you the maximum number of questions you can get right for the maximum score. It tells you the number of questions on the test itself, how many attempts you can have with the test, and whether or not you can start the test, save it, and resume later. For the pretest, you can see that it's not a pass or fail. You can, pass with nothing right. It's a pretest just to gauge where your knowledge is for that topic. There's no time limit to it. There's 3 questions total, which means if you get 3 of them right, you've got the max score. But you only get to take it 1 time, and you can't start it, save it, and resume later. So before you click that green Begin Test button to start the test, make sure you check these items out in case you don't have the time to devote to the full exam at that moment. But once we click that Begin Test button, we then are brought to the pretest. You answer your questions, click Submit Test Complete, which is this green button here on the bottom right, underneath the red arrow. And then it'll show you whether you've passed, how many you got right. And then this blue Show Your Answers button will allow you to view the answers that you selected. And if they were incorrect, it'll show you the correct answers. If you were correct, then it'll just say you were correct. You then can click Back to Course, which is this gray button here above the arrow. And that will bring you back to the learning plan to show you what's been unlocked for you to proceed with next. For this example, it shows you now the May webinar. You'll click on the May webinar link that's next to this red arrow. And it'll bring you to the sessions that you can sign up for. For this example, there's only 1 session available. So you're going to click that session, which is the blue hyperlink next to the red arrow. And it'll provide a drop-down box to show you who the instructor is, what date it is, what the time frame is for when it starts, and whether it's video conference. And then it'll have a green hyperlink that says enroll into the session. It's right below the red arrow here. Once you click on that, you are enrolled, and you'll have a orange notification box here at the top that tells you that you have to attend the session in order to complete this learning portion. So when it's time for the webinar, you'll navigate back to this page. You'll click on the May webinar hyperlink again, and you'll see then the green Join Webinar box, which is to the left of this arrow here. Once you click on that green Join the Webinar button, it will automatically pop up a new web browser window that tells you the meeting is through Microsoft Teams. If you don't have Microsoft Teams, that's totally okay. You don't need to have it in order to view the webinar. You can answer this question of Open Microsoft Teams. If you have Microsoft Teams, click Open Microsoft Teams and it'll automatically bring you into the meeting. If you don't have Microsoft Teams on your computer, click the blue Cancel button, and then you can click on the Continue on this browser section, and it will automatically load the meeting in under your web browser. Once you've attended the webinar, you can leave Teams. It will automatically show that it has been completed. and then you can continue on. That's when the post-test and the post-survey will open up for you. You'll just click through on those hyperlinks like you did with the pretest. And once they're completed, you'll have the green circle with 100% in the center telling you that the learning plan has been completed. You then can click your menu button again at the top left corner. It will bring up your menu doc. You can click on My Courses and Learning Plans, and it'll bring you back to your Docebo My Learning Plan homepage, which will look like that. For the recertification process, it's very similar to the May webinar in the sense that you want to click on the tile that you're looking to complete. So for this example, we're looking to complete the MAP 2022 recertification. Once you click on that tile, again, you'll be brought to that lessons homepage where you have the overview hyperlink, which is highlighted here in the blue, or you have the content. The big difference between the overview and the content is that the overview is going to have any files that may support you in your content process. So for this topic, it shows that you've got Medicare drug coverage guide available for you to utilize during the lesson. If you click on the content link, it's going to bring you to all of the learning modules like you've used on ShipTools before. These are listed as optional for this recertification. In years prior, you would have to complete those and complete the webinar and complete the test to recertify. This year, and what appears to be going forward for the time being, completing the learning modules is optional. However, you will have had to have attended MAP Inc.'s April 2022 recertification webinar live, which took place on April 6th, I believe, in order to have access to the test right away, or you'll have to watch it from this lesson plan before you'll have access to the test. So, having said that, we're going to look at the live walkthrough just so that you guys can get an idea of how this functions without just pictures. I don't know about you guys, but I am very much a person who likes to do things live instead of just look at pictures when I'm learning. So we're going to go ahead and navigate to Docebo right now. And okay, so you guys are currently on my Docebo. So because I helped put this presentation together, I walked through a lot of the tiles, and that's why they're reading completed already. But we're going to ignore the completed portion, and we're going to start with the recertification. So we want to click on our MAP 2022 recertification tile here. Oh, I have to sign back in. Sorry, guys. Okay. So let me go back to my learning courses and learning plans. Okay. So on my Docebo homepage, which is automatically going to be the My Courses and Learning Plans page, I'm going to click on the MAP 2022 recertification tile here. Now it will automatically navigate me to the overview, which is where I'm going to find access to files that are going to be helpful to me throughout this process. So that Medicare drug coverage guide that we talked about, that's listed here. It is a hyperlink, so if you click on it, it will pull it up in your web browser, available for you to then print or save as a PDF file later on. So you can see that happening here. Or not. There it is. Okay. So mine, because I have Adobe on my computer, automatically pulled it up into my Adobe app. But you can see it's just a PDF, so I can from there save it to my computer if I wanted, or I could choose to print it. All right. If I click on the content hyperlink, that's where I'm going to see all of my modules, 7.1 through 7.5. I'm going to see the recertification webinar video and the test. Again, these modules, 7.1 through 7.5 are optional, but you do need to complete either attending the webinar live or watching the video here. So if you had to watch the video here on Docebo because you were not able to be at MAP Inc.'s webinar, you'll click on the recertification webinar link like I did just a second ago, and it'll bring you to the video page. You cannot turn the video on by clicking the play button. It will not do anything. This is a function issue that MAP Inc. is aware of, and they are trying to address with the Docebo software text. So they know, we know, we're very sorry. So instead, you will have to get the video to start by navigating through this timeline for the video here. So if you take your cursor and hover over it, you can click wherever you want to start it. It will start and the video will just continue on until it's completed. Once you've watched the whole video, it will unlock your test. So we're going to pretend like we just watched the whole video. And then I'll have a check mark here. And then this would no longer have a lock, but have a check available for you to utilize it. You can choose to continue learning by clicking the next button if you'd like, or you can navigate back to the whole lesson plan through the content. It is easier just to click the next button, but if that's something that you'd like to do, you're welcome to do that. For the recertification test, this is the homepage for that. So you can see that in order to get a passing grade, you need to get 32 questions correct. There is a maximum of 40 questions. 40 out of 40 is the maximum score you can receive. There's no time limit. You can take this as many times as you'd like. You don't have to reach out to your site coordinator. It will automatically allow you to just take the test again. And then if you want to start the test and save it, you can do so later. So if we look at begin the test like we did in our training, you can see we have all of our questions. We can choose to just save the test, resume later. If we click that green box there, we can choose to just leave the test if we click the gray box. Or if we filled in all the answers, we could click submit and mark the test completed. If we mark the test completed, you can see that we didn't pass because we didn't answer any of the questions. And then it says you need to reach 80 or higher in order to be recertified. So we can click show answers to show the answers. It shouldn't give us any though, because we didn't click on anything. And then click the green retake the test button. And it automatically allows you to take the test again. If I click save the test like I just did, it'll bring us back to the test window or the test homepage. And then from there, we can click resume the test again if we'd like to do that. When it comes to the webinar, again, I'm just navigating back to my courses and learning plans, which you can do either through the menu dock, or as you've seen me take my little shortcut, if you're in a different lesson plan at the time, you can just click my courses and learning plans, and it'll bring you back to that homepage as well. So for the webinar, we want to go to the menu dock. We want to go to course catalog. You can see all of the course options that we have available. For our example today, again, we were using the May 2022 webinar. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the tile that says learning plan at the bottom. If I hadn't already enrolled in it, we would see the enroll buttons. Since I enrolled in it, I do have access to everything that's needing to be completed, or in my case, completed already. But again, we would still have to do our pre-test first. We can click on content, view the pre-test, and then you can take it. If you answered it and you had questions that were wrong, you can see those there. But once that's completed, you will have to navigate back to that lesson plan, which you can do so by navigating on the small blue bar if you want, or going back to your complete courses and learning plans and clicking on the tile. So we're going to do the My Courses and Learning Plans to click on the tile option there, because that's what we did earlier. So again, I'm going to find my May 2022 webinar tile that says Learning Plan at the bottom. And if we had just completed the pretest, then we'd see a check mark here with this webinar as unlocked. We'll click on that link. We would click on the session that's available. We would have clicked enroll, but because we were enrolled in it, we can now see that we can join the webinar. If we click join webinar, we do get the pop-up box for Teams. And then it would start that. So again, if you didn't want to do it through the Teams app, you could click continue on this browser. And it would load Microsoft Teams meetings that way as well for you. Okay. After you've watched the webinar, it'll show that it's been done and it'll give you a check mark there. You can go ahead and click back to your courses and learning plans from the menu dock. Click on your May 2022 webinar appeals learning plan tile. And see now that the post test and the post survey are unlocked and ready to be taken on. So you'd click on the post test again, click on content, click on the post test, take your test. If you got questions wrong, you can view your answers here. And then you would be able to click next, but I can't because I've completed it. So we're just going to keep doing it again. And then you could click on post survey once you've completed the post test. Click on content, click on the survey. And if my survey wasn't completed, you would see it here in this box. Once you've submitted your survey, then you can navigate back to that learning tile again. And you can see that in my green circle, it shows that I have completed the learning plan that was in progress. So that is the walkthrough at the moment. As things change, if they do, you guys will be the first to know from us. Our goal is to support you and make sure that you're successful in this transition. And I know for sure the site coordinators and I have already scheduled and sent out our recertification test reviews with you guys. If you are unable to make your site coordinator's test, let your site coordinator know. They can get you information on the other site coordinator test dates. I am going to open up for questions.
First, Melissa, I want to say something that this seems complicated. It really isn't. It's just getting started with it. Once you've done it once and are in, it's really kind of easy. It's fairly intuitive. There's just initially it seems complicated. The other thing I just want to add is, and I don't believe that Docebo is going to replace ShipTools. I think the learning modules and the webinars are going to be through there. I'm not aware that it's going to ultimately replace ShipTools. And I also want to let you know part of the reason for this transition for testing and webinars through Docebo is it allows MAP Inc. to get better metrics, which the state is asking for, on who's taking tests and who's who's taking tests, how they're scoring, what are the needs, and such like that. And those metrics come in a group. It's not by individual. They come as a lump sum. But it's really important that better metrics are gotten on the training so we know what we really need to focus on. So that's the primary purpose for this transition. And that's why the pre-tests and post-tests become important as well, because if nobody's learning anything, then either everybody knows things or the webinar wasn't successful. So so I wanted to just share that with people and let you know that if you need help getting in initially, don't hesitate to call any one of us. We'll help you walk through the process. And once you're in, it's going to work automatically with ShipTools. It will be seamless. Okay, so I just wanted to add that. And then I see there's a bunch of questions.
Can I just make one comment at the end of this training? And this is something that I've said every time we've rehearsed it as well. You really can't break Docebo. So although there are tiles and there are things to click through and there are tests and this and that, I strongly recommend that you grab that link from ShipTools and go and poke around. Take a look at the learning plans, take a look at it. Once you're in there, you'll see your own things that you're expected to do or you need to complete, or you have the option to go back and learn again. I can't recommend that highly enough. Certainly ask questions of your site coordinator or of Sherry if you get lost or something, but you can't break it. So give it a try.
I would second what Bev says.
I also put the link in the chat.
Yeah, the
So
links. If
you can get it
scroll
there.
up, I'm sorry,
These
if you scroll up in
slides,
go on, Melissa.
these slides that we went through today are also going to be sent to you from your site coordinator, and it will have the notes from the notes section so that you can use it like you would a handbook.
The recording will be available on our YouTube channel, Melissa.
Yes, that is the plan. To put it on our YouTube.
And if
If
you
anybody
need
needs the link to that, ask your site coordinator.
Can you put the link in the chat, Melissa?
Maybe.
Okay, while she's doing that, I'll start scrolling through the questions. Yes, the May 22 webinar will only be done through Docebo. That was one of the questions, and as Loretta answered, all future learnings and webinars will be through Docebo. There was a question that said, will the MMAP tool now on ShipTools be available at Docebo or still on ShipTools? The ShipTools library, to my knowledge, is remaining in ShipTools. And so it will be on ShipTools. And let me stress that Docebo, while there is a direct link to it, you can also access it directly through ShipTools. You don't have to go to Docebo. You can go to ShipTools and click on Map University on your homepage. Correct, Melissa? No, not correct.
Not correct. Paul Grady got rid of the hyperlink because it was causing some technical issues when we were accessing learning modules.
Okay.
And so now the only way to do it is either copy and paste it from the homepage on ShipTools, like we walked through at the beginning, or you can just put it into your web browser, type it in if you want, save it as a bookmark if you want, make it a favorite, click on it that way, however you want to do it, but you can't just click a link from ShipTools.
Okay, my bad, I didn't get that memo. And hopefully they will correct that at some point because that made it much easier. But ShipTools is remaining ShipTools. Webinars and learning modules, at least for the time being, are through Docebo, and the rest of ShipTools stays as it is.
Okay, I think this is the YouTube link. If anybody wants to navigate to it and let me know, that's fine, but.
I just threw the link in there as well.
Oh, okay. But I want to make a note on the webinars aspect. MAP Inc. holds their own monthly webinars. And then as a region, we also host our own. So any webinars that you're going to view on Docebo are going to be MAP Inc. webinars. They are not going to be our local Region 1B. So this is strictly for that like first Wednesday of the month MAP Inc. webinar that you would get an invitation from Paul Grady for. That's what's going to be on Docebo. Not something that you would get from Loretta, myself, Bev, Sherry.
At some point in time, we may be able to put our webinars on Docebo if we choose to. And we have to see how this goes. We may or may not choose to do that. But for the time being, we will not be doing that.
So again, just the MAP Inc. webinars. is
Just
where
the
you-
MAP Inc. webinars will be on there. If you want to go to anybody else's webinar, ours, the SHIP TA Center, whoever, those will be on whatever link they send you.
If you have a problem logging into Docebo, when I first tried it, talk to your site coordinator who will communicate that to MAP Inc. and they can fix it.
Okay, yeah, Beth is having
That
a
would be me.
problem. That would
Yep.
be Melissa, and she'll get back to you, Beth. Yes, the MAP webinars are going to be taped, as they always are, and so you can watch it as soon as they post it, the taped version on Docebo. The slide centered around recertification and testing, and I thought I heard Melissa mention quarterly recertification. Should we respect no, the recertification is just one time. Normally it's done, the training's done in April, and you have, I think, through the end of June to complete it. This year it's being rolled out a little bit later, so you have a little bit longer to do it. It should be fairly basic for everybody, but I encourage you to attend a training. We do train to the test. So if you attend the training and know the material, you should have no trouble with recertification, but it's not quarterly. There are quarterly trainings that we generally offer, and bear in mind, the trainings are, almost all of them are optional. We encourage you to attend them, but they are optional. And if you attend a training that is not through Docebo or through us, or if you watch one of our taped trainings and don't do it live, let your site coordinator know so that we can give you credit for it. Because you don't get credit for the trainings unless we know that you took them. Docebo will automatically log that. And if you attend one of our trainings like this one, we will automatically log that.
It will not be something that you will see in your activities tab. So if you're looking for it, once it's been submitted to MAP Inc. and they have uploaded it, it will be listed under your training tab on Ship Tools. And for anybody who has joined today through phone, if you don't mind, shoot your site coordinator an email, let them know that you're at the webinar, because it just shows up as a telephone number for us. So we want to make sure you get credit. And the best way to do that is reach out to your site coordinator.
And Robert Hahn, you asked, by attending the trainings, you mean through Docebo only? I'm not quite sure what you're asking. If you want to unmute and clarify the question.
I'm talking about the recertification training that was in the previous question.
Yes, you
The
have
one you
to.
mentioned is coming in April.
Yeah, there was a training, a webinar in April, and you have to have either attended that training when Paul did it or watch it on Docebo in order to take the recertification exam. So that is a mandatory training.
Okay.
And it is on Docebo now. If you attended the April training that he did, He already knows that, and your recertification exam should be unlocked. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it does. So we have, how long is the recertification training?
On Docebo, it's listed as an hour and 8 minutes. But I know that that is a recording of the live. So if it included any of the question and answer portion, it may be a little bit longer. But once you start it through that video timeline like we walked through, you can fast forward it if you need to. I didn't say that, but you could.
Oh, that's
fast forward
fine.
it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But if you do get to the Q&A and you don't want to stick around for the Q&A, you feel that you've got a grasp of the material, slide that timeline all the way over to the end so the software reads that you completed it.
Right. Because it does have to be marked completed for the test to unlock. And our trainings are technically optional, like Sherry was saying. I know for myself, I tell Livingston, Washtenaw, Monroe folks, if there's any 2 trainings that you're ever going to attend, because you have to attend 2 in order to certify, if there's any 2 you're going to attend, please attend the local recertification training that we hold for you guys, because we walk through the test answers. We make it so easy to pass the recertification test that there's really no reason that you guys shouldn't want to join that one.
Right. We discuss the
other
topic,
one-
but we teach to the test. So.
Right. But the other one that's really important to attend is our local What's New to Medicare training that we hold in the fall as well, because that's where you're going to get your up-to-date information you need to be able to provide accurate counseling for open enrollment. So while they are optional, you really need to attend 2, and we prefer that you attend our 2, like we were just talking about. It's kind of like the Part D plans, right? They're technically optional, but if you don't enroll, you have a late enrollment penalty.
Right.
I just wanted to repeat our recertification review meetings. Mine is on Tuesday, Melissa's is Monday, and Deb's on Thursday, and you should
Thursday,
have
yep.
received a Zoom invitation
Right. And
from your site coordinator to the meeting.
right. And to that note, we specifically picked different days and we specifically picked different time frames. So Bev is in the morning, mine is in the afternoon, Loretta's is late afternoon. And we did that on purpose so that you guys really would have an opportunity to join either one of our 3, depending on what's your schedule availability is. So again, if my time doesn't work for my Live Mon Wash folks and you want a morning, I connect you with Bev. If you want a late afternoon so that it's 3 o'clock and you can just pop that on and listen, that's going to be Loretta. So you just let your site coordinator know if there's a different time frame that you need or a different day.
And if you can't attend any of them, just let your site coordinator know.
Right.
We'll
Yeah.
handle it.
There's a chance you can get a one-on-one training if you can't attend any of those 3.
Yeah, that is not a training that we will record. That will not be posted on our YouTube. So
Right.
don't expect that.
And additionally, you know, as Melissa said, these are optional. And if you're comfortable with the Part D material, you are also welcome to, after you watch the webinar, go take the test and see how you do. And if you get 80% or more, you're good to go. So
That's what we've traditionally done. I think most of the seasoned counselors are comfortable with that. If they go through the test ahead of time, they miss the quality time at our training going through the test. It's done and they completed the recertification requirement.
You might want to put that in the chat because you were breaking up a bit, or repeat it.
It's my jetpack. No, I was just saying that's what we've traditionally done is if you finish the recertification quiz and you've passed it with 80% or better, you don't need to come to one of the 3 trainings that we have next week. You certainly can, but you don't have to.
Right.
But
and it's the
again-
same thing with the optional trainings that are done before the test. If there's a particular area that you don't think you know, you might want to just click on an optional training and update yourself there too. So there's all sorts of ways that you can get the information that you need if you need it to pass the test.
Everything is structured for you to succeed. We try to
Yes.
remember to say that every year. Nobody's trying to trip you up with a quiz that you're going to fail.
And if there are any new counselors on here or counseling assistants, people who have were just certified in the last year, you don't have to recertify. I think you can take the test anyway if you want to, but you don't have to recertify. Is there anything else?
No more questions in the chat.
I don't see any other questions.
So
in the chat.
I'm gonna stop the recording then. So then that way if